Hey guys, this is Carrie Carter. I'm just going to show you really quickly how you can use my editable banners and print them in different sizes. So go ahead and open up the file that you got from Teachers Pay Teachers. I've just got mine here on the desktop. There's 3 different things included in this download: the instructions page, the editable banners, which is what we're going to be working with, and then the pre-made signs and labels. And you can use the same method I'm going to show you for printing these in different sizes, but we're going to work specifically with the editable one right now. If you right click on that file and then go to duplicate, it's going to make a copy of it right there, and it says copy, and that's the one that we're going to open and manipulate. That way, if you do something that you end up wanting to save, you can just save it here and it won't save over the original. And if you do something and you mess a bunch of stuff up and you don't like it, you can just delete it. Of course, you can always go back to Teachers Pay Teachers and re-download this original one, but I just like to have a copy here, and then I may rename it later, like with whatever banners I made in it. You know, if it was like class names or whatever it was, I can just put that in the title. So we're going to go ahead and open this right here. And when it opens up, we're going to scroll down to the first page that has a letter on it. Now, if you use the suggested font that I listed in the instructions, then yours will look just like this. If you want to use a different font, that's fine, but you may have to play with the sizing. I'm using 300 right here, and with a different font, it might not center quite right. It might be a little too big for the circle, so you may have to play around with a little bit. But if you've grabbed this font, which is free for personal use, then you're good to go. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make this a little smaller just for the sake of showing you. We're going to click here on the W, and then you're going to scroll down to the exclamation point. So those are the 8 pages that have the different tropical backgrounds. And if you hold down the Shift key and then click on the exclamation point, it's going to select all 8 of those. And then we're just going to right click and then go to duplicate slide. And it just made another copy of those 8 backgrounds. Now, this way we can spell different things that have more than 8 letters. And you can duplicate them again if you need more letters than that. But that way it just kind of gives us enough to start with so that we don't have to kind of print a little bit and then go back and print and change the letters and print more. So this way you can just duplicate as much as you want. And if for some reason there's a background that you don't particularly like, or it's not where you want it to be, you can just click on it and grab it and move it to a different spot, or you can actually right click on it and just delete it if you don't want that background in this particular banner. Or if you just want to alternate between 2, then you can just, once again, Shift and then click the ones you want and just duplicate those. So you kind of have the freedom to make this your own for how you want it in your classroom. So it's kind of up to you, but I'm just going to keep them the way I have them here. And so I'm just going to make a really simple banner. I'm going to put my caps lock on, and I'm going to do my name. So I'm going to do Mrs. and I'm going to get my period. And then I've already got a C there for Carter. And I'm going to show you how you can print different things in different sizes. So I'm going to do Mrs. Carter's class, and I want my name to be smaller than the word class. And you'll see we've gotten to here, and clearly if I hadn't duplicated these, I wouldn't have enough banners at this point to finish my name. So it's just convenient to go ahead and duplicate those at the beginning. So now I'm going to put apostrophe S on this one. And then here I'm going to do class. So you're just going to go through and add the letters you want. And of course, you can kind of jot down every single thing you want your banners to say and just go ahead and pre-make them all before you go to print them. That's completely up to you. So now all I have to do when I'm ready to print this, since I want it to be in different sizes, I've got to kind of pay a little bit of attention to the page numbers. If you want them to all be the same size, then it really doesn't matter. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring up a sticky note real quick just so that I can remember which pages. So 5 through 14, I want those to be, let's see, I think I want those to be smaller since it's my whole name, and then I want class to be bigger so it'll kind of stand out. And then it's going to be 15 through 19. that I want to be bigger. So this is just kind of a little reminder for me so that when I'm going to print, I remember what I want it to be. And of course, it wouldn't be difficult with just this many things, but if you had duplicated more and added more, you would definitely want to know what you were supposed to print in which sizes so that you didn't print them out wrong. Okay, now it's really simple. You're just going to go to File and Print. And when it comes up, you're going to go right here to Custom Range. And here's where I'm going to put in 5 to 14. And I'm going to do this, oops, not 144. I'm going to do this first set, and then I'll show you the other ones, making them bigger. So 5 to 14, and then you're going to come up here where it says PowerPoint. You're going to click that drop down, and you're going to go to Layout. And this is a really cool feature. Actually, my husband figured this out for me. I didn't even know how to do this. For a long time. So if I do it 2 per page, the banners are going to end up being about half a page, which is bigger than I want my name to be. So I think I'm going to do 4 per page, and I think that'll be a pretty good size. And it automatically changes the page to portrait here because it fits better. So yeah, I think that's going to be a pretty good size. So I'm going to do 4 per page for these ones that I want to be a little bit smaller. And so at this point, I'm done. I'm just going to go to print those off the way I want them. And then I would follow these steps to print the next set. So then I'm going to go to File and Print. And once again, to Custom Range. And it's 15 through 19 on this set. And then up here to the drop down and go to Layout. And these I want to be bigger since I want it to shorter words, so I want it to kind of stand out against my longer name. I think I'm going to do these 2 per page. And of course, you have various options. You can go all the way up to 16 per page, which would be pretty small. So maybe for like individual labels for kids, those would be maybe the right size. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So now I've got these are going to be about half the page, and the other ones are going to be about 1/4 of the page. So now I can just print these off, and it's going to print it onto 3 pages, and then I can laminate them and cut them out. So that's what you're going to do to print these in different sizes. And then of course, if you print that and you want to save this so that maybe you want to print it again next year, or you have done something else and you like what you've done, then you can just go and save this and it'll save it under the copy, or you can save as, and you can save it under a different name. Now, if you'll go down to the set that has the table numbers on here. Now, of course, these are in the other file that are pre-made, but I just left this on here for the editable one. If you wanted to say something different, or you only want to do 4 tables, but you really like, you know, a different background, then you can just adjust what number you have here. And then you can just kind of jot down which pages you wanted to print. And these, of course, I would probably print pretty big if you're going to hang them from the ceiling or something so that you can, you know, see them from across the room. And you could even print 2 of each one and then laminate them back to back so that it's double-sided. So if it spins when it's hanging from the ceiling, you can still see it. But you can adjust these however you want. And then, of course, I did the option of the groups down here if you wanted to say group instead of table, but you're free to adjust these however you would like. And then if you go down here to the supply labels, these will automatically center on this circle, whatever you put in there. So if you want to put, ooh, I don't want that in all caps. If you want to put crayons, it's going to automatically center vertically, but you'll see that this kind of hangs off a little bit right here where I have it. So there's a couple little tricks you can do. You can either just make it a little bit smaller, like make it 95 and see if that fits. But I really like this little choice right here, which I think is character spacing. It's at normal spacing right now. If you make it tight, it just makes the letters a tiny bit closer together. So we may have to go to very tight there. Now you can kind of see it. And then if it's not quite centered, you can just kind of play with it. But you can play with that however you want. Probably the easiest thing to do initially would be just to make it a little bit smaller. So if I make this 90, it's definitely going to fit on there. And then I may want to go back to the normal spacing. But you can kind of play with that so that you can get stuff to fit. And then if I go to this one, and I want this to be colored and then enter pencils, it's going to center it vertically once again, but like my D is hanging off a little bit. So you can kind of play with that. If I want to just make this and see 95, that spaced it a little bit. That made it fit a little bit better. Maybe I'll bump it down a little bit. But you can just kind of play with it. You can always play with this, make it a little tighter. There, that worked pretty well for getting it to fit. But you can just kind of play with it. And then once again, grab your sticky note and just put down the numbers that you wanted to print. If you're printing like the table group signs and then you're going to print your supply labels, you can just put those down and then go and print them. And you're going to use the exact same method for printing those in different sizes. Also, once again, if you wanted to make more labels than what it's giving you an option for, you're just going to grab that one, go down to the end, hold down Shift, grab it, and then go to duplicate. And then you've got all the labels you'll need, and you can keep duplicating them until you get a label for everything you want to make. And then you can just go ahead and print them. So I really hope this was helpful. Thanks so much for watching.